Hey everybody, I know most of you. I'm Kevin, also known as so I've been teaching mindful meditation for going on 6 or 7 years now. I've done it for about 450 teachers of my district in Bordertown. I've done it in the community. I'm by no means any expert, but I like to try and talk to people because of small, easy things, ways to kind of help reduce anxiety and things like that. First of all, when we talk about meditation, I hate going back and forth the screen. Mindfulness and meditation. I'll talk about what it is not. And sorry for the going back and forth, guys. It's not easy on Zoom. So it's not always lengthy. You can do tiny mini meditations. It's also not a religion. I mean, I'm a Buddhist, but when I meditate with Christians, Hindus, Jews, even Christian ministers come to our temple sometimes and meditate with us. It's not magic. It's not the cure-all. Okay, it's not so much how much getting rid of any problems. It's so much teaching you how to handle problems and how to deal with it. Okay, in a much more mindful way. So I'm going to show you a quick video. I hate this with Zoom. I have to keep switching. Yeah.
Oh, very good.
So I like this little thing, guys.
Money. Most pleasing income tax भरना पड़ता है ना, तब पता लगता है most pleasing. Ajay, smile. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The most pleasing 5-letter word. Smile. It increases your face value. There'll always be a reason to cry. We don't laugh on the same joke again. Why do you cry on the same problem again? It depends on you whether you want to smile or cry tears. I remember following one slide that someone sent me. When followed in life, I guarantee you, life will be different. Do you have a problem in life? No? Then why wait? Do you have a problem in life? Yes. Can you do something about it? Yes. Then why worry? Do you have a problem in life? Yes. Can you do something about it? No. Then why worry? Why worry? Why are we constantly bogging our mind down with anxiety? Anxiety that is just absolutely not allowing us to have peace of mind. While you're sitting here, someone may be plotting against you. You don't know. While you're sitting here, someone may be backbiting and sending a wrong email against you. You have control over it? Control over one thing. Smile.
So that's a favorite clip of mine. And what that point of what that is kind of showing, obviously, I like how they say, we don't laugh at the same joke again. Why do we cry on the same problem again? And I really believe, and I know this, I don't have any scientific backup for this, but I really believe anxiety, to me, because it's so useless for people to have anxiety. Get anxious about something. Does it get better? No. Same thing with anger. I've never gotten angry with something and it improved the situation. I would say I never yell at somebody and they go, well, now that you're yelling at me, I can sit here and talk to you calmly. They yell back, and it gets worse. So mindfulness is a technique that you can kind of perfect through meditation where you catch those thoughts. Okay, so I learned over the years, and I start with small things where, again, meditation, a lot of people think meditation, you have to sit here for a half hour, an hour, and clear your mind. I can't do that. If you've been living on a mountain for 60 years doing it, maybe, but I sure as heck can't clear my mind. When I meditate, I have every 10, 15 seconds a thought pop in my mind. Okay. The goal isn't to have an empty mind. The goal is to recognize the thought and learn to let it go. So what am I having for dinner? Okay, let me come back to my breath and breathe. Let that go. And what that practice does then in my everyday life now, when I go into that teacher meeting, I'm a teacher at PV, with an angry parent, and I'm getting anxious, I'm catching that anxiety. And I'm letting it go because I'm recognizing it. It's almost like a response mechanism. But I get that through my practice, through practicing with meditation. And meditation can be 2 minutes. It can be 5 minutes. There's guided meditation apps, but I think are really beneficial. But again, what meditation does is it just kind of helps you practice on how to catch those thoughts, how to catch that negative thoughts. And in meditation, you might be just catching the silly thoughts. Again, what am I having for dinner? What am I going to do tonight? They're easy to get rid of. What's tough to get rid of is the thought that this parent's going to give me, come at me about something, or my student's angry with me about something, or having a meltdown, things like that. I have to deal with it. So I'm able to catch that thought. Now, I'll show you this real quick video too it's a cute video about what mindfulness is and does. I hate how this bar up here. I can't get rid of this bar.
Habitually, reflexively inhabit that thought. You actually become pissed. There's no buffer between the stimulus and your reaction. A little bit of mindfulness. In that same situation, you might notice my chest is buzzing, my ears are turning red. I'm having a starburst of self-righteous thoughts. I'm getting angry. But you don't necessarily have to act on it and chase that person down the road, screaming at them with your kids in the back of the car, thinking you've done nothing. Now, you might be thinking, don't I need to get angry sometimes? Aren't I justified? I would say yes, but probably not as much as you think. The proposition here is not that you should be rendered by mindfulness into some lifeless, non-judgmental blob. The proposition is that you should learn how to respond wisely to things that happen to you, rather than just reacting blindly. And that, my friends, is a superpower. How do you get it? The way to get it is through meditation. I believe that meditation and mindfulness are the next big public health revolution. In the 1940s, if you told somebody you were going running, they would have said, who's chasing you? But then what happened next? The scientists swooped in, they showed that physical exercise is really good for you. And now all of us do it. And if we don't, we feel guilty about it. And that's where I think we're headed with mindfulness and meditation. It's going to join the pantheon of no-brainers like brushing your teeth, eating well, and taking the meds your doctor prescribed for you. Let me just close by saying, mindfulness is not going to solve all of your problems. It's not going to render your life a nonstop parade of unicorns and rainbows. Nonetheless, this is a superpower, and one that is accessible by you immediately.
So that's kind of overview of what I was. And like I said, I really do believe, guys, it is like a superpower because it is really something that has improved my life dramatically over the years from years ago. Back to my presentation. Share. Someone asked the Buddha, what have you gained from meditation? And he replied, nothing. However, he said, let me tell you what I lost: anger, anxiety, depression, insecurity, fear of old age and death. So he didn't get rid of death, didn't get rid of old age or sickness. It taught him how to deal with that. how to help, help himself, his own mindset with that. Okay. Now I'm kind of going, guys, this is normally like a 6-hour presentation, so I'm going to bunch in like an hour. So I apologize if I go a little fast. So again, what is anger and anxiety? How does it ever improve our life? Responsiveness. One of the things that I tell people, practice with small things. So I think back to the example of, I was at a Phillies game and there's a little kid kicking back my hair. And man, I was getting on my nerves, driving me nuts. And I'd go back and, I'd hit the kid. And no, I get, I'd go, ah. And I realized about 3 innings went by, I didn't know what was going on in the game. So I was so focused on that little kid kicking my chair. And I realized how it's not the little kid. Little kid's not like, I'm going to piss this guy off. He's being a little kid. It was me and my reaction to it. Why am I getting so anxious and annoyed because of a little kid kicking my chair? Okay, so I refocused and had to let that thought go and kicking my chair. But eventually, it didn't bother me anymore. And I think when we practice with those easy things, then when the big things hit, sickness, death, the family, things like that, we're more prepared, because we've kind of worked our brain, worked that muscle to respond correctly. Doesn't mean we won't feel pain, doesn't mean we won't get sad. This means we'll be able to have that time period and learn to let it go. Can I do a volunteer? Volunteer, someone?
Sure.
So, yeah.
No electronics.
Right in front of you. Yeah, that way. And I'll get back to you in about an hour. No, I'll explain to you what I mean. I saw this. So, anger, I heard anger is the punishment we give ourselves if someone else's mistake. Again, when we get angry, very rarely does improve the situation. The only time I ever think getting angry helps is if someone's attacking. If someone's coming to mug me, and I go, well, let me meditate. It's probably not going to turn out too well. But otherwise, okay, anger has never benefited my life whatsoever. I think that you're doing all right. All right, let me know if it gets too heavy. No, don't switch. You can't switch. Okay. Now, being married to this young lady, believe me, I have to be meditate big time. No, she actually makes it a lot easier to be happy. So, being married to her. Now, I think about how this has improved my life, and I have a couple quick examples, and my wife has heard these stories a million times. You getting all right, Paul? Yeah. You getting heavy? Okay. Think about heavy. Now, the longer you held on to it, did it get heavier? Yes. It's the same thing with our emotions and our anxieties. The longer we hold on to them, the heavier they get. So meditation and mindfulness teaches us to put the glass down. Yeah.
Waiting till you start doing this.
Well, either way, but yeah.
I picked the pen on the wall and the top of the jar, and I just did keep the jar. So there was my mindfulness.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I'm the expert here. Come on, don't.
Well, no, because it was right in front of him, and I didn't want to drop it on him.
But that whole aspect of putting and I remember when the woman did it, was when I saw this, I stole that. We thought, oh, it was going to be the glass half full, half empty kind of thing. No, she's like, you have to learn to put the cup down. So there's anxieties that we carry around with us. We have to learn to let them go. And again, through meditation, we do that. Now I have up here anger, Spain, solar panels. And two quick stories with my wife years ago. And I know she hates because I've told this a million times, but I have a sugar packet moment where my wife tends to, when she has her coffee, leaves the sugar packet out. Used to drive me nuts. Okay, and I talked to her about it, and but she'd do it. She would keep it. And then one day it came down, the sugar pack was out, and I felt that real noise. I'm ready to go in and catch me, like, what the heck? Then I stopped my mindfulness, stopped that thought. I said, wait a second. First of all, A, she's not doing it on purpose to piss me off. B, it's a sugar packet. Okay, I'm gonna start an argument with my wife over a sugar packet. And how many of my sugar packets is she letting go? You know, probably a lot more than me with her. Okay. The other thing is, what happened to my shared screen? We have solar panels at my house. And years ago, when we first moved in 2015, and I had a neighbor came across who we just met, who introduced himself and said, "Hey, listen, you got a tree. It's kind of hanging off your lawn onto my property. Do you mind if I chop it up and we'll get it with us?" So a couple days later, he comes over and he knocks on the door. He goes, "Kev, we got a problem." Problem. He goes, "Well, the tree fell over, but it fell over your solar panels. So it broke 3 solar panels." So I look at my wife and she's like, "Okay, all that Buddha BS is going out the window right now." But I said to him, I said, "Well, you know what? Thank you." And he says, "What do you mean, thank you?" I said, "You know what? I didn't even notice it because it was in the back." I said, "I would never have known." I said, "I really appreciate you letting me know and being honest with me." Now, the company ended up fixing them for free, which was nice. But now I have a friend who writes us every barbecue, helps me around the house. Whereas if I got angry with them, wouldn't have fixed the solar panels. And I'd have a neighbor who I now have an uncomfortable relationship with for the next 10, 15, 20 years. You know? So I kind of switched that mindset. Getting angry about it was not going to fix this. And the last story in regards to this is about our daughter. My daughter was in 8th grade. She got her first iPhone. I said, "Okay, be careful with it. Don't drive it. Do that." Well, a week later, and I picked her up and I said, "Okay, well, you've got $100 in your bank account. That's going to pay for the fix the screen." A couple days later, she came to me and said, "Dad, how come you didn't get angry with me over the phone?" I said, "Well, Kid, if I got angry with you over the phone, what would you have done?" And started yelling. So I would have started crying on my room. I said, "That's right. You started crying. I would have been upset. We would have had a bad night. We would have got up in the morning. Our phone would be broken." I said, "Instead, I chose, let's have a good night and get up and the phone would be broken." You know, why am I choosing this thing that she didn't do it on purpose? Why am I choosing to get angry and yell and scream and have this horrible night? Does nothing to fix the phone. But what do we tend to do? We go right to that emotion. Now, out of habit. So this is, you know, this is how my wife has to be mindful, because this is what she deals with. You know. Now, the other story, this all kind of started a little when I was in Spain with a friend of mine, a colleague, years ago, 10, 15 years ago, or about 10 years ago. And we were on the train, and I had back when you used to look at your iPhone on your clip. And I went down, reached down, and the train, it was gone. Someone took it. So I lost it. I'm screaming at my buddy Jack, "Where's my phone?" And who took my phone? And this woman pointed this kid, this teenager. So he had pickpocketed me in a bag and kind of just grabbed it like that. So I grabbed him by the shirt collar. "Where's my phone?" And he dropped it and got off the train stuff. And walking back, and my friend said he noticed I was still kind of annoyed or upset. He said, "You got your phone back. What are you upset about?" I said, "It's not that I got my phone back. It's that I actually thought about hurting somebody over glass and plastic. That can't be a part of my life." That's when I started looking into this and saying, "Hey, what can I do to change where I would get so angry that I was going to hurt somebody over glass?" Yeah, I'm not going to be like, "Hey, take my phone." But at the same time, where do I draw that line? So we'll watch this one real quick. Quick video.
For thousands of years, people have practiced meditation for spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being. But from a scientific perspective, how exactly does meditating affect your body? Does it really do anything? It all starts in the brain. During meditation, brains can see increased activity in regions directly correlated with decreased anxiety and depression, along with increased pain tolerance. The default mode network, in particular, is activated when one's mind is at rest and not focusing on the outside world, and has been found to improve memory, self-awareness, and goal setting. Want to be more caring to your friends and family? When scientists compared the brains of Buddhist monks to new meditators, they found the region of the brain associated with empathy to be much more pronounced in the monks. It also literally changes your brain waves, and we can measure these frequencies. Meditators have higher levels of alpha waves, which have been shown to reduce feelings of negative mood, tension, sadness, and anger. And if that wasn't enough, it also physically changes our brain shape and size. Studies found that after 8 weeks of a meditation program, gray matter was more dense in areas associated with learning, memory processing, and emotion regulation. And yet the amygdala, which deals with stress, blood pressure, and fear, had decreased gray matter. When we look at the entire body, not only do we see decreased blood pressure, but it can also increase the variability of your heart rate. And while this may sound harmful, it actually plays a critical role in properly transporting oxygen and carbon dioxide throughout your body. Think you're getting sick? In a study where both meditators and non-meditators were given the flu virus, meditators were able to produce a greater number of antibodies and had increased immune function. If we go a little deeper, we can even see changes on a cellular level. Your chromosomes have protective protein complexes called telomeres, which help reduce damage to your DNA and lower cell death. And a shortened telomere length has been linked to several diseases such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and cancer. Amazingly, when cancer survivors completed a meditation program, their bodies showed significant increases in telomere length. It's believed that psychological intervention, particularly decreasing stress, has a direct effect on the enzyme telomerase, which has been shown to counteract shortening by adding DNA to the shrinking telomeres. Of course, meditation is not a substitute for other medical advice or a healthy lifestyle. We don't want you leaving this video thinking it will cure cancer, but much like hitting the gym can grow your muscles and increase your overall health, it seems that meditation may be a way of working out your brain with extra health benefits. And since your brain controls, well, all of you, why not relax and say every once in a while? And if you like working out your brain, be sure to get our ASAP Science book.
So, and I don't go. I'm a big time skeptic when it comes to looking at things. So when I first started looking into this, I did a lot of research, and it's becoming increasingly evident by scientists about how the actual changes. They say it actually takes about 8 weeks of daily meditation. It doesn't have to be an hour. It can be 5 minutes. Change your brain. Teaching it mindfulness stuff. And once that happens, when I started developing that, my compassion level, way up. Gratitude level in my life, way up. Anger, like real anger, not to say that I don't get annoyed, but real anger is kind of foreign to me at this point. And I'm buying don't need some, but it's foreign to me at this point. We talked about the again, when people are sick, when you get stressed and you're sick and you have anxiety, what happens? It hurts your immune system. The opposite effect with mindfulness, it actually improves your immune system. It slows down the aging process. People don't realize I'm 85 years old. Okay. So in that way. Now, has anybody ever here ever tried meditation? A little bit. Now we'll do a little bit, and I'll just show you how easy it is. We'll do a type of meditation. Again, the goal isn't to get rid of the thoughts. The goal is to catch the thoughts, and then learning to let it go. Okay. Now, one of the things too is if when we're done, if you guys ever want lengthier for free about how to meditate, we can't get into too lengthy of this stuff today because I'm limited on time-wise. Let me know. I'd be glad to meet with you. Again, no cost because I just know the benefits it has always done for me. So when you're meditating, you sit there and breathe. You want to pay attention to your body. Okay, so real quick, I put legs up. We'll take a quick minute. So I want you to get comfortable. Feet flat. Side on your lap. Close your eyes. Now, we're going through this. Pay attention to your body. Thoughts in your mind, recognize it. Don't hate it. of learning by car. Guys, I recommend people do it for a minute or two. Then after a couple times more, do it for add another minute. Add another minute. Don't try, and a lot of people sit there and try. When I was in Japan, I meditated at a Zen Buddhist monk for an hour. You had to sit perfectly still. You don't have to do that. Okay, that's not me. When I meditate, I sit somewhere comfortable on a cushion or in a chair. You don't have to be in that, Again, there are times where I don't have, I say I don't have time. I was mentioning to Paula this morning. My minister tells me, when you don't have 20 minutes to meditate for 40. I like that. But so in other words, saying make time. So there are times where if I'm like racing around, I'll just stop in my classroom. I have the lights out just for a minute, take 2 minutes, or I'm getting ready to go into, like I said, a nice situation. I come back to my breath and kind of reset myself. So I know when I go in there, if someone comes at me, I'm not going to respond in anger. I'm going to be in control of myself. Okay. So it's kind of like the passing wind, your thoughts. Passing wind, you don't fight the passing wind, you just let it go by. The same thing with your thoughts. Let your thoughts come and go. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, gratitude is a big, how this has helped me with gratitude. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen this picture before. I was down at the museum in Washington, D.C. And walking to a food station, she's obviously starving. This vulture was following her, waiting for her to die. The photographer wasn't allowed to touch her because of disease and tribal issues. He kind of just had to watch her. He came home, came back to America, found out that she had died. Now I think, do I really have any problems? What problems do I have that would match 10 seconds of this girl's life? No, I get hit by a bus walking out of here, and I would be that better. So it really does help you teach with gratitude. When you have that gratitude, the compassion really factors up. For me, compassion becomes addictive. It's easier for me to be compassionate than not. I haven't always been like that. Not that I was ever a bad person, but I wasn't always compassionate the way I am now, I think. Now, we're not going to get into it, but you also have mindful eating. Whoops. And that's where you take something, I've done this before, I haven't done it much this year, where you take it, you spend about a minute eating like chewing plate, taking a whole minute. The foods you're gonna have to think. First, you're taking that strawberry, you're feeling it, paying attention to what it is, and just eat. You get mindless eating, what we do, just kind of throw stuff in our mouth, and not paying attention. There's mindful walking, where you take a walk and you really pay attention to the noises around you, pay attention to the sounds, the smells. Okay, think about all that we miss. Think about when you were a child and you first saw that rose. Now that's a flower. I think about those one of the moths that are the Japanese phantom flies and stuff. How they're so bad, but man, you look at them, they're beautiful. You really look at them like, wow, look at the colors on that. Look at how amazing that is. as a part of creation. Now, favorite movie of mine that I give to as a therapist to Peaceful Water. Right? I've seen it 100 times. But he's got this one scene that I want to play for you. And the story is about, it's based on a true story, how this kid is in college, rich, athlete, getting ready to go to the Olympics, he's a gymnast, gets all the girls and stuff, and has, and he's not happy. And he meets this guy who kind of mentors him. And it's actually Nick Nolte. But this is one of my favorite scenes. So he comes over, they meet on this bridge at the college campus over a little stream. And the kid's like, hey, come on, I got this stuff I gotta do. What do you want to talk about? He goes, oh, come here. And he takes him and he throws him over the bridge. Right? And the kid gets up and he's all ticked off. What's the matter with you? Are you crazy?
Not the trash, Dad. Trash is anything. It's going to be here.
And later on, the kid says, you're out of your mind. He goes, it's taking a lifetime of practice. I like that. All right. All right. So I kind of stole this. When you show unconditional love, when you instantly forgive no matter the circumstances, when you greet everyone with a smile, when you never judge, when you're always a comfort during difficult times, when you can share in other people's pain, when you enjoy every moment for the moment, you'll be enlightened as your dog. I look at my dogs as in a lot of ways my teacher. Okay. Yeah. He's such a dumb look. But anyway, I think about it. When I could take out the trash, I come home, come back inside, and be like, what the hell are you doing? Oh my God, it's great to see you. Like I've been gone for 30 seconds. All they want is to love you. That's all they want. Never have gotten angry with me, even when I get annoyed with them. Okay, they only want to be with me. They feel devastated when I'm not there. They don't care about kids, but I look at them as my teachers. They're always in the present moment. I like this little cartoon here. This little drawing. My dogs are happier. What's he thinking about? He's thinking about travel and car and job and house and money. Dog's thinking about sitting next to his master. I like that. So we looked at things like that. I really, that is something that, we'll do this one instead. Really, like I said, I love my dogs so much. They really are. They're all about their mindfulness. cats are jerks, but dogs, they're very right. So any questions so far? Do a little bit of again, a meditation, guided meditation that I have here. Any questions? Okay, like I said, guys, if anybody wants to follow up with me sometime, let me know. Like I said, if you then do it for free, we can meet here. It's something that, again, you make those little changes, little practices, taking those breaths, get it into a habit. Because then again, as life goes on, then you'll be able to handle the things that are more difficult in your life. I did a thing a couple years ago, on Facebook, where I said to my former students, I teach high school, hey, let me know what you got out of my class. I got about 60 responses. Not one was about any academics I told them. Every single one was, you helped me with my anxiety. You were always kind, you were compassionate, you were like a father figure to me. All that kind of stuff that impacted me. Not, hey, I got a good history lesson from you. I learned that. Because that's the thing that I always say, compassion. How much stuff do we learn when I teach teachers? I always go, when I teach a teacher, I go, what do you teach? Chemistry, algebra, history. And they're great. How many of those things do kids use when they leave high school? Now, if I'm going into chemistry, obviously I use history because I teach history. But most people, that's not going to affect their life. I'm not doing chemistry experiments right now. I'm not using algebra. What can every person use, whether they're working at McDonald's or a CEO, is compassion. That's the universal thing. And that's what when I tell the teachers, look, that's what kids remember. Kids don't remember those teachers that say, oh, they got a good lesson, interesting lesson. Hey, you made me laugh. You made me smile. You helped me off the edge when I was getting anxious. That's what impacts them. And that's what people remember. People are emotional people in that's what they imprints on them. It's how you behave, how you react with them, and how you treat them. So this is the last one. We'll take the last, before we wrap up, we will, I don't know if I was going to get to this. This is things from the Peaceful Warrior but we can you can either watch the screen or close your eyes and just listen. Just a few minutes long, and then we can. No, wrong one. Should be this one. If not, then we'll just do the last one. What'd you say? Oh, yeah. Maybe this is. Yeah, this is it.
Only pay for what you need.
Videos piss me off.
None of those stuff. Anymore about freckles at the end of your nose. Try to fix anything that is keeping you from that's personal training. Learning to throw out everything you don't need here. Now, this moment, here, when you truly are here, you'll be amazed at what it feels fair. It's the story. Take it up here and come to mind of the rebels. Slash through all those regrets and fears. Anything else that's in the past and the future. Life's choice. You can choose to be a victim or anything else you'd like to be. The warrior acts when the fool reacts. The warrior does not give up what he loves. He finds the love. what he does. Core is not about perfection, or vision, or infallibility. It's about absolute love. That's the only true courage. What if I can't do it? That's a future. Go down. Where would we start? There's no start. It's nothing. Where are you? Here. What time is it? Now. What are you? This moment.
And I know sports teams, a lot of sports teams bring in mindful people to help work with them in mindfulness. And I think even if you like, when I used to play sports, I know when I would sit there and really take that breath, and I wasn't even into meditation or mindfulness at the time, years ago, and really focus, I tended to do better. And that was just because I'm concentrating on the moment I'm right now. I'm not focused on the past or the future, focused on this moment. And one last, see if I can, since we have a couple minutes before we, one last one.
Even after 10 years of thin hair, with simple carbonated foam. I'm Tom, 35 and single. I've been suffering from thin hair for 10 years. My life with thinning hair started 10 years ago.
So, in this part of the movie, this is the last one I'll show, and then we'll wrap it up. They get mugged, and the guy, the mugger says, give me your watch. And they give him the watch, and they go, okay, thank you, and wallets. And they go to leave, and he goes, what size are you? And the guy says, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, he takes off his jacket, gives him his jacket. He said, I don't want your jacket. He said, I'll take your jacket. And eventually you'll see them walking in their underwear. But I like what he says here. Let me make sure it's being shared with him. I like it.
A bit more radical in puberty, but nothing to get particularly upset about. Jesus. You've been immortal since before you were born, and you will be long after that body dissolves. Death isn't sad. What is sad is that most people don't live at all.
Yeah, well, I'm not feeling very immortal right now.
You're right on schedule, Dad. You're very close.
What are you talking about? I'm not close to anything. I don't understand you at all. I can't let go. I'm still afraid. This qualifier's got me totally freaked.
Of course you're scared, Dan. Life's kicked you in the teeth and your heart's been broken. Broken open. To reveal the only place you haven't looked. I call myself a warrior. A peaceful warrior. Because the battles we fight are on the inside. For peace. The battle to be happy, Dad. Be happy. All the time. Without a reason in the world. Then you can love and do what you will.
So I love that. Be happy all the time without a reason in the world. One of my favorite lines of the movie. And again, doesn't mean you're not going to have your ups and downs, but it's how you react to it is what's important. It's the only thing you can control. So well, thanks everybody for coming. If you have any questions, we follow up or want to talk afterwards, or if you want to, like I said, set up any kind of meditation sessions with me, let my wife know and we'll go from there. So thanks.